Okay, everyone. Hope you're doing good. It's Dave Mormon here, and I want to take the next few minutes and kind of walk you through my story. I love telling and listening to stories because I think that's how you really capture the learning. And I'm going to show you ultimately how I started my exterior cleaning business with just $3,000, how I spent 7 years scaling it to doing just under $4 million in total revenue, and how I ultimately exited that exterior cleaning business earlier this year. So this is going to be like a straight to the point. I'm a very simple person, no fluff. We're going to keep it practical. So I got 10 key steps. If you looked at my journey over 7 years, I broke it into 10 different steps, and I'm gonna show you. So get ready to take some notes here. I got some visuals, and it's gonna be a fun time. All right. So the first thing that I did was I really focused on building the brand. Okay. I didn't want to have a business that was like Dave's window cleaning or Dave's pressure washing. I wanted a word that actually stood for something. And revive actually means to bring life to. And it was very intentional because I wanted to bring life to homes, but also we donated 3% of our revenue to sponsor global water projects around the world. And so this was something that was very near and dear to my heart and also made us different and stand out in the market. So everything is kind of showing you my mindset behind getting it started. The second point is just like how commoditized the home service industry is, especially like pressure washing, exterior cleaning is a very like low barrier to entry. And so anybody can kind of start. There's not a big high barrier to entry. So how you actually stand out in this marketplace, in my opinion, and it's still true today, is you really brand yourself and you build something that is memorable and that people care about, and you give them an experience. So that's what I did from day one with my brand. And this is just like a screenshot of our current website. The next thing was really key. Okay, neighborhood marketing. This is something that we teach in depth inside my coaching program. Is really like, how do you become 5 Mile famous? How do you build a dominating brand in a local market? And for me, I built my whole business around affluent customers. You can see here in this complex, this is like a multifamily complex, but also, homes in that area are anywhere from like $1 to $2 million. And so they were like dual income households and places that, would be hiring out for exterior cleaning services. So that's where I chose to like plant my flag. You can see here, we actually started as Revive Washing and eventually switched to Revive Services. And so I hustled really hard. Okay. I was door knocking. I was putting signs up. I was putting flyers up. And even when my crew would be working, we would make sure that our crew would drop off, five rounds, we called them, 5 door hangers or postcards to the neighbors around the job that we were doing. And I still see this as a big mistake today in the companies that I consult with. There's huge opportunities going to neighbors that are around the current jobs that you're doing, where we see it missed all the time. So if you're taking notes, this is a gold mine to get more of the clients that you're already doing. Start to look left, right, and across the street in the neighborhoods you're in, because like I guarantee you're missing marketing opportunities in the neighborhoods that you work in. And in the case of my story, in about 30 to 40 neighborhoods, we made our brand famous in these communities, and we built an incredible business just around 30 to 40 neighborhoods. So you don't have to make it super, super difficult and complex. Third was reviews. Okay. So you can see here when I exited, when my business got acquired, we were north of 500 reviews. This was on our singular Google business profile, but we also had another one as well. And it took about 3 years to actually get the business ranking. I worked with a number of different SEO companies, some really good, some not so good. But I was intentional from day one of getting those reviews and making sure that people not only had a great experience, but they told the world about their experience. And with how busy consumers are today, you just need to ask, and you need to ask, and you need to ask, and you need to make it really easy. And of course, you can look at different software and automations that you can use. We worked with a company called Nice Job to get, a number of our reviews going. I even got like a couple hundred reviews just texting out a really short hyperlink that Google provides you. And even with Jobber plugin now with their reviews, you can ask directly through Jobber. So there's a number of different softwares you can do. But the big thing is you want to make it human, you want to make it intentional, and you want to ask multiple times. But I think most of the times the owner doesn't truly know the true value of reviews. And so they're like not really taking it seriously. But for me, in getting my business acquired, this was a key, one of the key criteria that the buyer was quite interested in was this top ranking Google business profile, and north of 500 reviews, like showed the reputation of our brand. My first point, that we had built online. So like the point before, we dominate the neighborhood. This one, we dominate online. And notice I've not even talked about paid ads yet. These are all like simple plugins. They'll take a little bit of time, but easy doubles and triples that I think most home service businesses can put into their business. Number 4, we got to talk about hiring. Okay. This is my guy, Graham here. Graham started our first year revenue as $89,000. And this was a key turning point. This was like our first vehicle right here. This was like $3,000. I got the logo put on, phone number, like really simple. You could see literally how limited I knew about branding and wraps really back in the day here, right? It's just like, man, I would design this so much better, but that's not the point. We all get started at our certain point, and you don't know what you don't know. And so while Graham would go now and do the window cleaning, the gutter cleaning, the pressure washing, I was actually freed up to go and do in-person estimates and be booking out the schedule. And so it was this year we moved from 89K to do 155,000 that I actually moved from being like really needing to do the jobs, and I had Graham trusted who could execute for me, produce the projects, and I could focus on selling more jobs for Graham. And so this was important because this is a key kind of turning point of my time in the business, was moving from a technician to moving to being the marketer, being the salesperson. Really, really important that you learn those skills to delegate and to trust people to do the job as good as you, or potentially even better. And, I'm naturally not a super hands-on, handy kind of person. So it wasn't super difficult to let this go. But I'll share in a coming step where I did struggle a little bit in my journey with relinquishing some of this control. So shout out to Graham, helping me get the business going. And through the course of 7 years, I hired over 54 employees in this business, and Graham was the first one. So pretty cool. Next came to building systems. Okay, this is the Starbucks right here I built my whole business from, okay? And these were 2 of my key employees that helped me scale the business. And so when we hit 155 grand in revenue, I knew that I needed systems, okay? I had read the E-Myth, you can probably see somewhere behind me right there. And I was working with a business coach, learning about systems. And he was like, dude, you gotta carve out the time to make the systems. And I had a previous background with a painting business that I had scaled up and grown. And I still had a $500,000 business in painting. And I still had no idea what systems were until it was this year. I was like plugged in. And so I built out our company Google Drive that year. I got a binder and I made systems for everything from like what we do on the job site. I made this job site checklist that I've now, patented through my coaching program. I made our training program. I made our inbound call scripts. I made our outbound call scripts. I got our jobber organized. I did our email campaigns. I did everything as if like I had a big passion for backpacking at the time. I pretended to build the business as if I was in Thailand or Bali for 2 or 3 months, and the business had to run without Dave. So what would need to be true for that to happen is I needed like this standard operating procedure. I needed this Google Drive of systems, and I needed at this time a physical binder. We got kind of away from the binder as technology evolved, and we went more on our Google Drive. But it was for me. I'm married to a nurse, and my wife would leave really early in the morning. This was before we had any kids, and from 6 to 8 a.m. every morning, I was here at Starbucks grinding out systems. I had my Pike Place coffee, and I was rocking and rolling. So. Let me know in the comments too if you're watching this, if you're getting value from this. I'd love to hear, Dave, you should do more of these, or key learning system, or whatever the case may be. Would love to hear from you. Number 6, this was a key one, okay? Pricing for profit is so important. So this was one of the biggest turning points in my career scaling up Revive. Was I changed our pricing structure virtually overnight. And this came from a lot of pain from seeing we got a lot of revenue at $65 an hour, cool, but we weren't making the profit that we needed to. And so again, through working with my business coach, it was an overnight, almost 100% price increase to $125 an hour. This is per technician. Okay, so at the time, this was quite alarming for me, saying, my whole business is going to go off a cliff. No one's going to hire, revive, etc. But that pain would not be so great as the pain I was currently in of just staying really busy and not staying profitable. And most of the companies that I consult with today in our portfolio, their pricing needs some work. And you're probably watching this, and I would guarantee your pricing probably needs some work. And by work, I mean you just need to charge more. And so underpricing was this really limited mindset that I was like, I can't charge more than this. Like, we're cleaning windows. No one would ever pay 125 bucks per hour. And what do you know? This was our new price book for the next few years. And so the lower rate, 65 bucks, honestly, it worked pretty good when it was just me and Graham, because Graham was making 18, 19, 20 bucks an hour, some bonuses. I didn't have a lot of overhead, but as the business evolved, and I had a production manager and I had more crews and we had to buy more vans and more into marketing, the 65 just wasn't working anymore. And so if you make the decision to scale and be a CEO and be an entrepreneur, you need to put to death your price book of a self-employed owner operator. It just needs to die. You need to set it on fire, and you need to like reopen your eyes with like, okay, I'm building a real system now, and I can't be the cheapest outfit in town. And that's where my first point, building your brand and building a great team and offering great experience from front to back. Those are all the things that you can charge more of a premium for. And that's just what I found in my case. And again, I'm not showing you like, oh, I ran this for 1 year and it kind of worked. Like, no, I did this for 7 years and I scaled it and I tested what worked. And it's way better building a premium price brand than being like the Walmart for window cleaners. It just sucks. So go upstream if you're kind of deciding, oh, I don't know what to do. It's going to be a better business strategy. Okay, this was the point I wanted to talk about. I referenced earlier, hiring an office manager. Okay, this is David. David's in our office. Got got to like this dual screen eventually, which was super cool. And we would crush these drinks, these La Croix drinks. Now I'm drinking this kind of bubbly carbonated water. Was always our go-to. I remember those days really fondly. So as the referrals were going, Google rankings were going, phones started ringing. I had this really key realization that I was in Mexico is like the last week of April. And I had 40 missed calls while I was away. Family member was getting married. And this proved I needed an office manager to handle scheduling and emails. And you might ask, well, what about a VA, Dave? For me, I always preferred just an in-house local office manager. That was just my style, but we definitely have companies we're scaling right now that have VAs, and that's totally fine. But the biggest thing is, whether office manager or VA, go either way. It doesn't matter to me. Just don't go the owner as the office manager. And this was a key point for me. We stayed stuck at this like 155 grand in revenue. I was only able to bust through that by actually firing myself as office manager and bringing on David right here. And again, traded my time for like 18, 19 bucks an hour. I could get myself out of the field, let Graham do the jobs. And at this time we had more technicians, and get myself out of the office and say, Dave, you go sell that this Dave, go sell. And this Dave in the office right here, who's a rock star, he's going to go schedule. You can see the jobber schedule here. He was logged in on Jobber. He could do estimates. He could schedule. This other tab, the split screen, that was our Gmail email. You know, we'd come in Monday and have like 75 emails to like rip through, requests coming in, etc. So this was a very like route driven business, a lot of quick turnaround. So you needed to have this person who could be on the phone, be on the email, and schedule is so important. And for an owner to try do that, you'll never bust through that like 150 grand ceiling. That's where I got stuck. And I'm naturally a fairly organized administrative person. And so this is where I got stuck in growing the business until step 7 here. I hired David, and that could propel my growth. Then came to scaling with more techs. Okay. So this was the year we moved from 155,000 up to 582,000. Okay. So we brought on 6 more technicians. You can see here in the picture, we're now getting to a little bit more of a scaling type of business. This isn't just a little 100K business anymore with Dave and a helper. It's like, wow, this is like serious. We got office manager, we got production manager, we got 6 techs in the field. We're running 3 crews. And I hired a production manager, okay? And so bringing on Austin allowed me to actually free up my time and scale the business even faster than we ever had. Because for this 582, this was like, I think we did over 1,000 jobs that year. And I didn't have to really go on many job sites. I didn't have to fix broken pressure washers. I didn't have to schedule. You can imagine, like, when those things are off your plate as an owner, my focus was like keeping culture good, running our weekly team meeting, and then selling my face off, like selling, $25,000 a week of pressure washing jobs. And I was going into these businesses. I was going into neighborhoods. I was putting signs up. I was going to the BNI meetings. I was doing everything to tell the story of this business and what I call in my book, passionately promoting my business. Really, really important point. So this is what happened as a step 8, was bringing on more technicians. And that's how I moved from just Graham coming on originally to bringing on 54 total employees throughout the course of my time at the business. Okay, a couple more. Then I solved for seasonality. This was another huge one, okay? So my challenge was I was bringing on technicians generally that were great fits, but also we got kind of screwed over with the seasonality. I live in Canada, and so by October, it'd get really cold, and our revenues would move from like $50, $60, $70,000 a month down to like 5 to 10. And you can't keep a team on if you're only doing 10K a month in revenue. Okay. So 2019 moving into 2020, that was the year I got really into the holiday lights game, you can see here. And so we piloted this lease model for Christmas lights, which worked super good in our market. And we would lease out these Christmas lights to our customers and give them a tiered discount on a 3-year agreement. And this was how we were able to actually move our fourth quarter, October, November, December, and move those months to be our busiest months in the whole year, which was great, right? I remember in November we did like over $130,000 because we were doing Christmas lights and we were doing gutter cleaning. And these were the services that helped build a loyal team. And I got away from hiring short-term 5-month a year technicians and more into like, dude, we're bringing you on year round. Because we'd go October, November, December, put up Christmas lights. January, we take them all down. And I'm so passionate now about this service that we teach it inside my coaching program, because we work with a lot of pressure washing companies, window cleaners, landscapers, anywhere where the winter months usually suck. The lights is a really cool option to be looking at for how to solve for seasonality, because it really helped benefit my business. And man, when you can do 6-figure months in the winter, it was like night and day for me. So this was a huge one, solving for seasonality. All right. And then step 10, this is exciting. Okay. I was able to fully step into a coaching role. And so the last couple years I had my business, I don't like to use the word autopilot, but my business was largely running without me, so much that I'd be in the office for one morning every second Wednesday and at Starbucks every second Monday. And I would see all the technicians. We'd have a full team meeting every second Monday. And then in the office, I would see my service manager and office manager and do kind of like a state of the union. How are things going? But truthfully, the last couple of years, I've been really focused on growing my coaching business right here, Home Service Business Coach. And so I got to thinking, as the business was able to run without Dave, and coaching was really growing. We're over 150 active companies now that I'm helping put these systems into place and coach. And we started growing a lot quicker than I thought. I started to look at what an option would be to exit this business here. And you can go more on my YouTube channel. I've got an interview, got quite a bit of views on like breaking down how I actually did the full exit. So you can check that out. But for me, it was more about getting capacity back. And, 2 years prior, I'd become a dad. Coaching was growing, Revive was running. And so I thought, what better time to look at potentially shopping this business? And I was shocked. I had 112 people reach out to me as I listed the business that were interested. We had 4 offers and ended up selecting an excellent buyer who it was just a couple months ago now, purchased my business, acquired my business. And it's amazing to see being able to start something from nothing, grow it in these 10 ways that I just shared with you, and eventually exit the business. And this has set up myself and my family for financial freedom. And the only reason it was really acquired is a couple of reasons. It was acquired because it had systems in it. Okay. And I know systems aren't sexy, and you may be watching this being like, what does he mean when he says systems? Like, it's anything that happens more than once in your business. And because there were systems in place, not just that, there was a team running these systems. That's what made it attractive to a buyer to say, I'm not just buying a job here. I'm coming in, the business is running, and I can literally, like what the owner did, he bought the business and came in and let it run for the first month just to see it all in action, and then jump in and start changing some things up. And so it's been an exciting full circle moment for me to start something with $3,000, scale it up, exit it, and now set up my family for financial freedom. And this is what I'm helping owners do now at Home Service Business Coach. So if you've watched this far and you may know more of my story, and I wanted to fill in some holes here, you may be potentially interested in what I'm going to show you right here. Okay. This is our HSBC Accelerator. And you might click off this right now and be like, not another coaching business, etc. Go into search right now and just put in Home Service Business Coach. And I want you to read those 150 plus positive reviews that are coming from our active members, because I think this is the no-brainer offer for you that I want to help you out with. So if you're watching this and your business is 5 to 20K per month right now, keep listening. Okay. So I have put my systems, how I scaled Revive, I've put it in this program in HSBC Accelerator. Okay. You're getting coaching, you're getting templated systems, and you're getting community, all for 40% off. Okay. We are opening this up for the first 200 members, and I'm opening this up for $297 a month to get into Accelerator. And this is your no-brainer offer. So you're going to get all these plug and play systems templated. You're going to get group coaching calls, and you get the hiring guides. You're going to get email scripts. You're going to get SOPs. The thing is just loaded up. So we're not going to keep it here forever until we get 200 people in this group. We're going to leave it at $297. Once we hit 200, we're going to put at the regular price, which would be $497 a month. So I'm going to link to it down below. You can go ahead and check it out. If it's a great fit, I'd love to see you on the inside on some of my coaching calls. And if you're going to wait with it, that's cool too. But I hope I was able to bring some value to you today. And let me know in the comments down below, maybe a key takeaway that you had, because I just want to bring so much value to this marketplace that anyone who looks up Home Service Business Coach thinks of us as an incredible resource to help them truly scale their business. And I hope that my story is encouraging and inspirational to you, because I was sitting right where you were years back wondering, how the heck do these guys do 100K a month and hire people and put in systems? And I'm like, this is literally it on a silver platter for you. So hopefully it's a no-brainer, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. But regardless, thank you so much for watching, and hope that this brought some value to you today.